All right, welcome back. Today, we're diving into a classic business case study. This is the kind of stuff that teaches you not just what to think, but how to think like a top-tier consultant. We're going to value a startup completely from scratch, and I'll let you in on a little secret. The answer isn't really in the math, it's all about the structure.
So let's frame the entire challenge with this one big question. Picture this. You've got this amazing idea, maybe even a working app, but you have no business plan whatsoever. How do you actually figure out what it's worth? Or if it can even make any money? Well, that is the exact problem we're here to solve today. So who are our clients? Well, there are a couple of college students, super smart coders, but they really need a business strategy. They've come to us, their consultants, with 4 very specific questions that they need answered to figure out if they're sitting on a little hobby or an absolute gold mine.
Okay, let's get into the nitty-gritty. Here's the official problem statement. The product is simple but really clever. Celebrity voices for your GPS. I mean, just imagine, driving to work and getting directions from your favorite actor. It's a fun idea for sure, but is it a profitable one? That's the key question. And here they are, the 4 big questions our clients have for us. They want to know, how big is the market? When do we break even? What price should we charge? And what can we make in the first year? Now, it looks like a pretty straightforward list, right? But as you're about to see, the order you answer these in, well, that changes everything. And this right here is where we make the leap from just answering questions to applying a real consulting framework. Look, anybody can crunch some numbers, but a top analyst, a real strategist, knows that the order you tackle these questions in is the most important decision you'll make. It's all about finding the linchpin to structure the problem the right way. So take another look at that list. You've got market size, break-even, price, and profits. Where would you start? I think most people would probably just start at the top of the list, right? Market size. But that is not the best way to do it. And here's the big reveal, the key insight. A great analyst sees right away that these questions are all connected, and one of them is the key that unlocks all the others. The list our clients gave us? It's actually completely out of order. And that linchpin, it's the price. Now why? Think about it. Because every single other question depends on the price. You can't calculate your profit until you know your price. And you can't find your break-even point until you know your profit on each unit. Price is the foundation. It's the first domino that everything else is built on. So, to set that price, top consultants basically have a toolkit with 3 core approaches. We're going to look at what competitors charge for similar things. Then we'll look at it from a cost-based perspective. What do we need to charge just to cover our expenses and make a little something? And finally, what are customers actually willing to pay? You put all 3 of those together, and you get a really clear picture. Okay, so we've got our strategy locked in, we know where to start. Now let's get our hands dirty and actually execute this analysis, step by logical step. Okay, what's really cool is how we can bring all 3 of those pricing strategies together right here. So first, we look at competitors. Things like ringtones and songs are anywhere from free to about $10. We also know our costs. The App Store is going to take 1/3 of whatever we charge, plus we have to pay the celebrity a 50-cent royalty for every single download. So a price of $3, it feels perfect. It's a nice, simple number, feels right for an app, and the math is super clean. At $3, $1 goes to the platform, 50 cents to the celebrity, and that leaves a really solid $1.50 in profit for our clients on every single download. Okay, now that we've nailed down our price and our profit margin, now we can finally tackle the market size with some real confidence. We're going to build this estimate from the ground up, using some US demographic data. So this table shows us who's likely to buy an app in each age group. And when you look at it, the sweet spot is obviously that 21 to 40 demographic. So if we add up all the potential buyers across all these segments, we get a total of 5 million people. And from there, we'll make a pretty reasonable assumption that the average buyer will probably download 2 different voices in the first year.
And boom, 5 million people times 2 apps each gives us our answer for that second question. The total addressable market in year 1 is a whopping 10 million downloads. That is a huge number, and it's the figure we're going to use to calculate our potential revenue and, of course, our profit.
All right, let's get down to the bottom line. We have our price per download, our profit per download, and the total market size. So now we can finally answer those last 2 questions. What's our break-even point, and what's the potential profit in that first year?
First things first, we've got to account for our fixed costs. These are the big upfront expenses for stuff like software development, marketing, legal fees, the whole shebang. For this little venture, the total fixed cost for year one is $500,000. That's the hurdle we have to clear before we make a single penny in profit. Now, the formula for our break-even point is just beautifully simple. We just take our total fixed costs, that $500,000, and we divide it by our profit per download, which we already figured out is $1.50.
And when you run the math, there's our answer. The clients need to sell just over 333,000 downloads to cover their initial investment. Now remember, our total market estimate is 10 million. So, yeah, this feels very, very achievable. Every download after that is pure profit.
Okay, this is it. This is the number the clients are really waiting for. We've done all the structured work, we've laid the entire foundation piece by piece, and now we can finally calculate the potential payoff. And the bottom line is pretty staggering. If our clients manage to capture that estimated market of 10 million downloads, they'll generate $15 million in profit. You subtract that $500,000 in fixed costs, and you are left with an estimated first-year profit of $14.5 million. Just wow, what a phenomenal result. But hold on, remember the framework? A top consultant never just hands over a messy spreadsheet. The final, and I mean critical step, is to synthesize this entire structured analysis into a single, powerful summary that directly answers the client's original questions. It's all about delivering clarity, not just a pile of data. And this one slide is the beautiful culmination of all our work. We started with 4 scattered questions, but by tackling them in the right order, we can now present a complete, logical, and really compelling business case. It's clean, it's concise, and it answers every single thing they asked for. And that's our final recommendation. Based on a structured, logical analysis of the price, the market, and the costs, the conclusion is crystal clear. For these 2 college students, their cool little app isn't just some hobby, it's a potentially massive business opportunity. So the big takeaway here really isn't the $14.5 million number. It's the problem-solving framework, the process we use to get there. Any complex problem can be cracked when you first find that linchpin, you structure your analysis around it, and you build a logical story with the data. The real answer is never just a number. It's a clear, structured narrative, and this is a repeatable skill. So let me ask you, what problem will you structure next?